bad student. Let's let her play.
Welcome, everyone, to Union Theological Seminary's 183rd commencement. 183rd commencement. I'm thrilled to have you join us today as we celebrate our class of 2021. I had so hoped that this year we would be back in person, but circumstances have us celebrating virtually. But we are determined, as I know you are, that that is not going to dampen our enthusiasm or celebration one bit. And I want to start by just saying a special word of thank you. Thank you to the family and the friends of our graduates, the children, the relatives, and the neighbors from across the country and from around the world who have tended these graduates as they've gone through their last year of education at Union Theological Seminary. It was no small task, and I know your heart and your life's work is invested in this day. A deep and profound thank you. Our faculty taught, and they taught to the world, and they engaged you. A special word of thanks to them, and then a word of thanks to this amazing staff, the facilities workers, the administrators, all of the people who, while we were scattered near and far, many of whom came in every day to keep this campus healthy and safe, and to keep that behind-the-scenes work going as the world around us seemed to be falling apart. Thank you. Thank you for your work. That's why we're able to be here today. And most of all, I want to say a big word of thank you to the class of 2021. You made it. You did this. I know if we were all gathered right now, the applause would be thunderous in living rooms and kitchen tables and sitting on floors and chairs and desks and outside, wherever you may be, I can hear your applause. I present you the class of 2021.
Nighttime, singing in the day, the middle of the wax is on his way. Possum ain't got much to say, and the porcupine talks to himself. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
And now we have a song, Joyful, Joyful, sung by our amazing, outstanding, world-renowned virtual union choir. Wow, thank you for that amazing witness. And now it is my pleasure to introduce to you Mr. William Candelaria, who serves as the seminary's chair of the Board of Trustees. Mr. Candelaria, we, the faculty, have the honor this afternoon to present to you and to all the members of the board our students who have completed every single requirement for their degrees, the class of 2021.
Thank you, President Jones. On behalf of the Board of Trustees of the Union Theological Seminary in the City of New York, I congratulate each graduating student for their exceptional accomplishments. I am pleased to share that, on the recommendation of the faculty of the seminary, the trustees have voted unanimously to confer degrees upon members of the graduating class of 2021. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Candelaria. And now, Dean Pamela Cooper White will read the names of the graduating class.
Thank you, President Jones. We begin with the candidates who have completed the degree Master of Divinity. James Admons. Rebecca Marin Anderson. Carter Penrose Baxter. Rachel Allison Beaver. Nordia Chevelle Bennett. Elizabeth Victoria Brewster Rossoff. Joshua Brian Campbell. Anne Vanami Conger Simons. Allison M. Connolly. Carrie Lynn Coyne. Allison Victoria Cryer. Brett Raymond DeGoldy. Ekema Mary Ennie. Hannah Irvin. Justin L. Felder. Ryan S. Felder. Tori Lana Field. Monique Joan Fortuné. Stefia Sandana George Stephen. Golnaz Golriz. Jake Heron. Hardy D. Hill. Naonu Jewell. Anthony A. Jones. Vanessa Antoinette Warwick Lindley. Davis Ogama Logan. Hannah Louise Lundberg. Naomi Maderas. Catherine Allison Meeks. Mohammed Nabil Mia. Oren Miller. Aaron Miner. Stacy Allison Mitchell. Matthew Morello. Charles R. Schneider. Xian I. Shi. Xian An Shi. David Sievers. Lisa Elizabeth Skinner. Sulkiro Song. Ian N. Story. Brandon James Takadena. Alyssa Jane Terry. Upayadi. Margot Quinn Wagner. Bridget Anika Webster. Brishay D. White. It's my pleasure to welcome the Very Reverend Dr. Kelly Brown Douglas, Dean of Episcopal Divinity School at Union, who will now announce the names of students receiving the Master of Divinity degree with a concentration in Anglican Studies.
Thank you, Dean Cooper White. I am pleased to announce the 2021 Episcopal Divinity School at Union Master of Divinity in Anglican Studies graduates. They are Carl C. Adair, Mary E. Barber, Sabra Ellen Endicott Jones, Joseph Allen O'Rear, Lu Zhang.
Thank you, Dean Douglas. The following student will receive the degree Master of Divinity from Union and Master of Science in Social Work from Columbia University School of Social Work. Raquel Irizarry. I now present students receiving the degree Master of Divinity from Union and Master of Social Work from Hunter College, Silberman School of Social Work. Tennessee Jones. Anna Pearson Spencer. We continue with the candidates for the degrees Master of Arts, Master of Sacred Theology, and Master of Philosophy. Candidates for the degree Master of Arts: Finn Adamite, Byron D. Galitzos, Lynette Adrian Bickham, Stephen Crouch, Mackenzie A. Cruikshank, Chauvin Rosemary Hickey, Daniel Kimberg, Taubahan Lin, John Scott Major, Matthew Joseph Malajakam, Philip Oluwayinka Oladele, Tamara Cecile Plummer, Ariel Prater, Brandon Michael Roiger, S. Ong Lin Tan, Nanette M. Walsh, Hong Yi Wang, Adam James Willems, Daniel Yaboa. Candidates for the degree Master of Sacred Theology: Gumjat Ong. Gilbert Kobina Buhari. Elizabeth Ann McKenney. Joseph James Nicholson. Omar Ortiz. Myra Rare. William David Shell.
As Dean of the Episcopal Divinity School at Union, I'm pleased to announce the candidates for the Master of Sacred Theology in Anglican Studies. They are Ju Young Priska Lee Pei, Emily Walker Cornetta, Lorna Althea Woodham.
I now present candidates for the degree Master of Philosophy. Kelly Tatsuo Meshiro. Poonam Rai. Anthony Jermaine Ross Alum. Adam Corey Vandertwig. I'm now very pleased to present to you the first graduates of Union's Doctor of Ministry. The candidates for the degree Doctor of Ministry are Megan Colette Alaman, Advisor Pamela Cooper White, Reader Dr. Miggs Ross. The title of her applied research project is Spiritual Formation in the Practice of Clinical Spiritual Care, Education, and Supervision. Edward Peñate, Advisor Dr. Mary Boyes, Reader Dr. George Fichette. The title of his applied research project is, quote, Becoming a Spiritual Care Generalist, Spirituality and Spiritual Care Training for Palliative Care Fellows. It is now our pleasure to introduce the candidates for the degree Doctor of Philosophy.
It is my pleasure to present Kristen Joy Apico, who has fulfilled the requirements for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. The title of her dissertation is Yahweh's Flood, Noah's Ark, Adaptations of the Flood Story, Then and Now. Everyone, I'm so happy to present Dr. Kristen Joy Apico.
Good afternoon, my friends and colleagues. It is with great pleasure and honor that I present Juan C. Morales, who has fulfilled the requirements for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. The title of his very fertile dissertation is Secularism, the Secularization Thesis, and Latinx Evangelicos, the history and revision of a theory and its implications for a community. Dr. Juan Morales, te felicito.
It is my pleasure to present Jorge Juan Rodriguez V, who has fulfilled the requirements for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. The title of his dissertation is The Más Allá, at First Spanish, the People's Church, Religion, Spirituality, and the New York Young Lords. Muchas felicidades, Jorge, que todo te vaya muy bien de ahora en adelante. Bendiciones.
Wow, what a list. Congratulations to every single one of our graduates. And now I have the pleasure to introduce to you a person who is part of a group that you are now officially a part of. I want to present to you the Reverend David Cowell from the class of 1994, who is here as a representative of the Alumni Council to welcome you officially into your role as a Union alum.
Greetings, class of 2021. My name is David Cowell, class of 1994. As a member of and on behalf of the Union Theological Seminary Alumni Council, it is my honor and privilege to offer you joy and congratulations for earning your degrees. Well done. There are no words to express the extraordinary circumstances that you have experienced over the last 14 months. Yet, you have successfully completed the requirements of your program. You've stayed connected with faculty and staff, stayed connected with one another, and you've remained grounded to your own intentions. Your adaptability and expanded capacity for emotional growth while working on your degree is unlike anything previous Union classes have experienced. The Alumni Council welcomes you and your experiences, your unique gifts, and your voices. We celebrate all that you bring to the world and are excited that you now join a legacy of Union prophets, theologians, pastors, teachers, chaplains, artists, and seekers. None of us are able to predict the path on which our call will lead. There is no way that I could have predicted how chaplaincy would transform my life, or that I would somehow find myself standing shoulder to shoulder with clinical teams, offering care to staff, patients, and their loved ones during the pandemic. The path is a wonderful mystery. Continually discern your call while also embracing the ways that you serve healing, justice, and peace in the now. Remember to offer yourself the grace you would give to others. Trust your voice. Soon there will be a moment when you deeply understand your Union education has given you a unique and particular viewpoint, a framework for assessment, a grounding in your own faith, and insight into providing a way forward. Trust me when I say, our insight is not always popular or appreciated, but this insight is part of the gift of our time in the Union community. You have finished your degrees at a time when the world is desperately in need. The older and more seasoned I get, the more I know that I have done nothing without others. Build teams, listen to others, collaborate and be transparent in motivation and with your own words. Always dream, dance your dance, sing songs, stay present to your inner circle of loved ones, and love what is sacred. There is always hope. I see hope emerging all over, and I remain, along with the Alumni Council, hopeful for you. Congratulations, graduates. Blessings on the journey, and thank you.
Now I'm so pleased to announce the prizes and special awards of Union and of Auburn Seminary. They are awarded by decision of the Union faculty to students who have been nominated by the academic fields or by prize committees. Students of all denominations and all faith traditions are eligible for all prizes and awards. Auburn Seminary, a multi-faith leadership and research center, moved from upstate New York to the Union Seminary campus in 1939. Retaining their separate identities, Auburn's mission focused on continuing education and research, including in areas of feminism and interreligious engagement. Auburn also maintains a vibrant covenant relationship with the Presbyterian Church USA, its denomination of origin. And while it most recently moved next door to 475 Riverside Drive, it continues a strong relationship with Union, providing courses and mentorship to our Presbyterian students, following Auburn's call to, quote, trouble the water, heal the world. It is my honor to welcome Auburn's president, the Reverend Dr. Catherine Rhodes Henderson.
Thank you for the introduction, Dean Cooper White. It's my pleasure to announce the 4 awards that are presented by Auburn Seminary. Auburn awards the Maxwell Fellowship to a student from Southern California with many hobbies, including running, skiing, and baking bread. This recipient is a Union Chapel minister and also a beautiful singer. After graduation, she's moving to Ann Arbor, Michigan to serve on staff of a Presbyterian church. The winner of the Maxwell Fellowship of Auburn Seminary is Hannah Louise Lundberg. The Robert Wood Lynn Fellowship Award winner is an Anglican Studies graduate, currently a transitional deacon on his way to priesthood in the Diocese of Long Island. Currently living in Brooklyn, the recipient worked in the restaurant industry before coming to seminary. Having received a PhD in English literature and teaching English in 2 New Jersey state prisons, the student enjoys cooking, detective stories, and tootling around on his bike. I present the Robert Wood Lynn Fellowship of Auburn Seminary to Carl C. Adair. The Bennett Prize winner served as a community psychiatrist for 20 years before answering a call to ministry. This generous and caring individual also holds an MD and loves quilting prayer shawls and sending loved ones handwritten cards. A graduating Anglican Studies student, the recipient is presently an ordained transitional deacon in the Episcopal Church. Also a Union Chapel minister and currently a candidate for priesthood in the Diocese of New York, I present the Anne McGrew Bennett and John Coleman Bennett Fellowship of Auburn Seminary to Mary E. Barber. The Jonathan Neeland awardee would often play an imaginary piano in biblical languages class, and when asked about it by the faculty member, the student would respond that he was contemplating the language in terms of music. Additionally, when this Golden Globe and Grammy-nominated recipient asked for an excused absence to attend an out-of-town event, he humbly neglected to share that it was to attend the Academy Awards, for which he was also a nominee. This brilliant musician is a thoughtful and inquisitive graduating student blessed with curiosity and a generous nature. Joshua Brian Campbell will receive the Jonathan Neeland Award of Auburn Seminary.
We continue with the awards from Union Seminary. First, prizes awarded by the academic fields. The Wynne Wright Prize for the Study of Biblical Languages is awarded to a graduate whose advisor says is an absolutely superb student. A proud dog mom of 2 small Australian shepherds, this recipient came to Union from Lynchburg, Virginia, with a BA in both religious studies and economics. A Unitarian Universalist, this MDiv student served as an orientation ambassador, welcoming a new class of students with enthusiasm and positive energy. This prize goes to Rachel Allison Beaver. The first of 2 awardees of the Muhlenberg Prize in Biblical Scholarship comes to Union from Grinnell College in Iowa, having received a BA in English with Phi Beta Kappa honors and Global Development Studies. Studying abroad in Botswana during her undergrad, this recipient embraces social justice work, excelling both academically and in fieldwork, with her supervisor acknowledging her deep and generous kindness. This graduate also serves on Columbia University's Sexual Violence Response Team as a peer advocate for the Sexual Assault Crisis Line. A gifted scholar and preacher, this prize goes to Hannah Louise Lundberg. The second winner of the Muhlenberg Prize in Biblical Scholarship is a Wellesley College graduate in classical civilization, now receiving her second master's degree following an MBA from Iona College. A student minister seeking ordination in the Unitarian Universalist Association. Her field supervisor recognizes her as a respected member of the ministry team. This recipient also serves as a board member for Women in Development New York, dedicated to empowering women in professional growth and leadership. This prize is awarded to Allison Victoria Cryer. The Interreligious Engagement Prize winner, a graduate from an HBCU, Florida A&M University, founded and leads her own religious community, the NIA Center. Her advisor says she is one of the best learners I have encountered in the classroom, with an openness to learning and diverse voices. As an example, she entered Union as an Islam and interreligious engagement student because she felt that there was a gap in her knowledge. This recipient embodies interreligious learning that she seeks to foster in future educational and social settings in pursuit of racial and religious equality. This prize is awarded to Naonu Jewell. Union awards the Daniel Day Williams Fellowship to a deeply thoughtful, generous, and brilliant student studying the historical and ethical dimensions of the American social ecology of racism. As a PhD student writing his dissertation on this subject, he earned the gratitude of master's students at Union for his superb work as a teaching fellow. A model PhD student displaying independent scholarly work, creativity, and resilience, this award winner also shows great solidarity with his peers. This prize goes to Anthony Germain Ross Alam. The winner of the Hitchcock Prize in Church History wrote his master's thesis entitled Origins, Typology, and the Question of Metaphor. This award winner did field education at the NYC Department of Corrections Chaplaincy Unit, following a volunteer position in the LA County Jail System. As an artist with a BFA in printmaking from Rhode Island School of Design, he came to Union to find his spiritual and ministerial leadership voice after studying at Bloy House, the Episcopal School of Theology in Los Angeles. One professor states, Hardy engages with historical sources and scholarship with remarkable height, breadth, and depth, considering highly sophisticated questions, connecting broadly across materials and fields, and thinking deeply about implications. This prize goes to Hardy D. Hill. Next, we turn to prizes in preaching, worship, and the arts. The Karen Ziegler Feminist Preaching Prize is awarded to a graduating MDiv student with a strong interest in Black liberation theology. A James Cone enthusiast, she served as a pastoral assistant at New Day Church in the Bronx. This recipient's additional volunteer work includes serving as a guidance officer with New Jersey Seeds, an organization that, quote, changes the lives of motivated, high-achieving students from low-income families by transforming their educational opportunities. While serving as Student Senate co-chair, this student also wrote a senior thesis titled, A Barbershop Theology, a womanist reflection on the transformative power of the body and the reimagined Eucharist, drawing a parallel between the Christian communion table and sacred places in the Black community. A gifted and passionate preacher, this prize goes to Nordia Chevelle Bennett. The Hudnut awardee is the first student representative to serve on the faculty's assessment committee. A Midler from Baltimore, Maryland, she contributes meaningfully as an educator with a true commitment to learning. With a BA in biology, This award winner came to Union to immerse herself in a Christian learning community. She served on senior staff at St. Timothy's School, counseling high school students on the college admissions process. She is a strong advocate for higher education, concentrating at Union in psychology and religion to enhance her skills in pastoral and spiritual care. This prize goes to Kimberly Gordy. Union grants the Robert E. Seaver Award to a musically talented dancer. She is passionate about mental health issues and uses her charismatic, gentle nature to put individuals at ease, as she has gained experience in chaplaincy. As an interfaith Union Chapel minister and Master of Divinity candidate, the recipient's focus, academically and personally, relates to both Christian and Buddhist teachings. Her grandfather, the sculptor Gurdon Brewster, also went to Union and interned with the family of Martin Luther King Jr. Perhaps her love of dance and of justice was inspired in part by his famous sculpture of Miriam, now a gift to Union. She and her husband currently own a home solutions company that works to end labor exploitation and provide social support to North Carolina residents. This prize goes to Elizabeth Victoria Brewster Rossoff. This year, we award 2 students the Frederick Buechner Prize for Creative Writing. The first is an exceptional student with an interdisciplinary concentration focusing on LGBTQ+ ministry and theory from an interreligious perspective. This award winner is a gifted writer who has accomplished excellent academic work in all courses. Among this awardee's vocational interests is finding how to bring ways of doing ritual to others. This prize goes to Margot Quinn Wagner. The second Buechner awardee is a middler from Oakland, California, who graduated from UC Berkeley with a BA in legal studies and a minor in theater performance. Currently serving at Metro Hope Church in Harlem as his field education site, this award winner grew up attending the Church of God in Christ, Kojic, a predominantly Black church in South Central LA. A gifted preacher and musician, he was drawn to Union not only to learn about social justice, but how to live it out in practice. This awardee is Galvin Mathis. Next, we turn to awards in leadership in ministry and social justice. The Julius Thomas Hanson Memorial Award is presented to an astute, thoughtful, and gifted student. His combined passions for social justice and theology with the deep knowledge of German theology, philosophy, and politics were among his strengths before coming to Union. This recipient's academic work, one faculty member says, has been a blessing as we have benefited from his rich learning and generous spirit. A native German, he studied at Philipps Universität Marburg, volunteering to teach English and German to seniors at one of the largest Lutheran churches in Latvia. His master's thesis, entitled Paul Tillich, The Kairos and the Present Moment, explores religious socialism and its influence in contemporary theology. This prize goes to Finn Adomite. The Malcolm Boyd Veritas Award is presented to a non-binary queer Christian theologian from West Haven, Connecticut, who came to Union with a BS in anthropology and an MS in forensic anthropology. They are a talented graphic artist who brought our community together with their design for the orientation theme, Love Holds Us in Union. And as an MDiv student, they have concentrated in both Bible and social ethics. Pursuing ordination in the United Church of Christ, they currently serve at Fort Washington Collegiate Church in social media and the LGBTQIA+ small group ministry, and as a staff and volunteer coordinator for Fort Washington's vaccination site. They run a queer theology social media project, ministering to the queer and trans community on Instagram. A houseplant hobbyist, eyeshadow enthusiast, and fabulously creative performance artist, the Veritas Prize is awarded to James Admons. The Charles Augustus Briggs Awardee is presented to a psychology and religion concentrator, a Bronx native with a strong interest in social justice activism, particularly in the areas of mental and holistic health. This graduating MDiv student is deeply spiritual and gifted at holding space as a natural leader. A student employee for the academic dean's office, she was always available to provide support to the office and to students. Arriving at Union as an already seasoned educator, this recipient serves as an adjunct lecturer in the communications department at Fordham University. Holding 2 previous master's degrees, a Master of Education in Communication and Education from Teachers College, and a Master of Science in Adult Education and Human Resources Development from Fordham University. She is dedicated to helping others. This prize is presented to Monique Joan Fortuné. And finally, to the academic awards. The Scholarly Excellence Award, Union's highest prize for academic achievement, is shared this year by 3 outstanding scholars whose work ethic, integrity, and scholarly gifts reflect their intellectual distinction. The first recipient holds a Juris Doctor, JD, from Georgetown Law School. One faculty member has commented, "She makes other students better and makes classes better." Her impressive commitment to learning and hard work is a consistent pattern that has led to her admission for next year to Union's highly selective PhD program. She will be studying interreligious engagement and racial justice. This awardee is Naonu Jewell. The second winner of the Scholarly Excellence Award has exhibited consistently excellent work in all his classes. He came to Union with a Master of Fine Arts in Creative Writing from the University of Oregon. Fluent in Spanish, he taught English in Santiago, Chile. Faculty have assessed his contributions to class as first-rate, not only smart, but wise. This diligent and academically gifted awardee is Charles R. Schneider. The third winner graduated with a BA magna cum laude in American Studies from Kenyon College, where she also served as president of the student organization. This excellent student came to Union to challenge and develop her faith and has done stellar academic work. Faculty and administrators are impressed by her written reflections and organization, and as well her gift for making people feel truly cared for. The final Scholarly Excellence Award goes to Margot Quinn Wagner.
Thank you, Dean Cooper White, and congratulations to all of our awardees. I also want to say that every single person who is graduating today is worthy of an award for your accomplishments at Union, for your scholarship, your intellectual leadership, your spiritual presence, and your place in this community. So congratulations to all of you for the award of graduation. And speaking of awards, as part of this year's commencement, I'm delighted to share with you that we will be awarding the Union Medal today. This is our seminary's highest honor. In 1981, our board instituted the Union Medal as a means of honoring persons whose lives, in all aspects, reflect the mission of the seminary as it lives in the world. This year, our honoree is Senator Reverend Raphael Warnock. A Union alum, among his many accomplishments, he has inspired so many gathered here today by leading with his faith and his moral conscience and his sense of ethics, and endeavoring in all that he does to make a change in the world through public witness and service. I know that if we were in a room together and I can hear it in the living rooms around the country, the applause that is coming out now. I'd like to introduce you to our Chair of the Board of Trustees, William Candelaria, who will be presenting the Union Medal to Senator Reverend Warnock. Bill?
Thank you, President Jones. Senator Warnock, it is with great pleasure that I, on behalf of the Board of Trustees and the full seminary, present you with a Union Medal. If we were able to meet in person, I would be able to place a medal around your neck and give you the citation, which reads as follows. Raphael Gamal Warnock, you have been a Baptist minister, scholar, and theologian, civil rights activist, public advocate, and voice for those denied justice. But most importantly, you have assumed the mantle once worn by Martin Luther King Jr. and speak as a prophet for social transformation in our time. You gave your first sermon at age of 11, and since then, in the words of one admirer, have brought both burning and learning to the pulpit, often to resounding standing ovations. As senior pastor at the iconic Ebenezer Baptist Church, spiritual home of the Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., you have raised your voice to Caesar and to Pharaoh, empowering those previously without any voice whatsoever to raise their own in unison on behalf of biblical values, criminal justice reform, a living wage, reproductive choice, and expanding Medicaid under the Affordable Care Act. You have traced the evolution of Black theology in your seminal book, Divided Mind of the Black Church, Theology, Piety, and Public Witness, an exhilarating altar call to action regardless of race or gender. Standing as a conscience of first your community, then the entire nation, you have boldly and courageously challenged the evils of police brutality, voter suppression, and economic injustice, all while launching new ministries at Ebenezer, growing the congregation by several thousand, making more than 5 million in capital improvements, and leading church members in a successful fundraising campaign to build the $8.5 million Martin Luther King Senior Community Resources Complex. Your election to the United States Senate has brought a Black Baptist preacher in robes trimmed with kente cloth to the halls of Congress, and a voice that speaks of police brutality and voter suppression. Your life and your ministry embody the highest ideals and aspirations of Union Theological Seminary in the city of New York. For your exemplary courage, prophetic wisdom, and moral rectitude, your inspired and inspiring oratory over decades of social justice activism, your dignity and grace and spiritual leadership, and in celebration of your election to the United States Senate, we award you Union's highest honor, the Union Medal.
Wow, thank you so very much. It's a funny thing for a Baptist preacher to say, but I really am speechless. I did come with, some remarks, but I want, first of all, just to thank President Serene Jones and Chairman Bill Candelaria, members of the Board of Trustees, my entire Union family, for this amazing honor. I am humbled and deeply grateful. It's one thing to be acknowledged by people or organizations for your work, but there is nothing quite like being honored by your own alma mater. So thank you for this amazing honor and high recognition of my work and my witness in ministry, in scholarship, activism, and now in politics. I am, again, so deeply grateful to you and to my family and to my friends, the folks I met while a student at Union Theological Seminary. I feel in a real sense like I grew up at Union. I arrived at the age of 22 to pursue a Master of Divinity degree, a kid who grew up in Savannah, Georgia, one of 12 children in my family. I'm number 11 and the first college graduate. I remember vividly arriving on the campus of Union with high hopes and dreams of a seminary education and then hopefully making my contribution. I went on there, of course, to stay and earned 3 degrees at Union, spent almost all of my 20s and part of my 30s at Union Seminary. But it certainly was one of the highlights and best choices of my life, because I met at Union not only amazing teachers like James Cone, who was my doctoral advisor, and Dolores Williams and Christopher Morse and Larry Rasmussen, Robin Scroggs and Phyllis Tribble and James Washington. But I met some other friends who have become lifelong friends, co-conspirators with me in the dangerous art of making good trouble in the world and good trouble in the church. And no school prepares you better for that really than Union. Indeed, it helped provide for me an intellectual foundation and a theological framework for my life's work, and afforded a wonderfully creative and conscientious and sometimes contentious context for critical engagement and experimentation with others who are among, again, my closest friends and confidants in ministry. I would be remiss if I didn't say that a big part of my experience at Union really was also my work while there at the iconic Abyssinian Baptist Church under the leadership of the Reverend Dr. Calvin Butts. In a real sense, my time there was like a moving train between Union and Abyssinian, between Morningside Heights and Harlem, although those boundaries are quite, it's not clear where those boundaries, where one ends and one begins, between ivory towers and ebony trenches. And that was a big part of my education. I arrived at Union, as I said, the first college graduate in my family. My dad and my mom were both Pentecostal preachers who talked to me in King James English. They had a way of saying, "Thou shalt wash the dishes." And my dad was a preacher and a junk man. During the week, he picked up old junk cars that other people had thrown away because he saw their value. He saw the treasure in what others saw as trash. And then on Sunday morning, he preached to people who themselves felt thrown away. I arrived at Union with the junk man's hermeneutic. The Union polished that up and gave me fancy words for it, like the hermeneutical privilege of the poor, the preferential option of the poor. And that has been the lens through which I have tried to do all of my work, fighting against mass incarceration, standing up for the poor and the oppressed, standing up for voting rights. All of that is informed by the understanding that we are here to bear witness to God's love and justice in the world. So go for graduates, know that you have received an excellent education. You have the foundation to do great work. Eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, neither has it been revealed the things that God has prepared for those who love God. There's a poem I started reciting when I was a young man at Morehouse and then Union Theological Seminary. Benjamin Elijah Mays, the great president at Morehouse, who shaped so many, including Martin Luther King Jr., used to say to the young men of Morehouse, and I offer to you these words, to everyone there openeth up a way and a way and a way. The high soul climbs the highway while the low soul gropes the low. Then between on misty flats the rest drift to and fro, but to each one there openeth up a highway and a low, and each one must decide the way their soul would go. Go forth, dream big, dare to do the unimaginable, bear witness to God's kingdom imbued with love and justice. Keep the faith and keep looking up.
Wow. Thank you, Reverend Senator Warnock, for those words. And again, I wish you could hear what I'm sure is the silence of people taking in the profundity of what you've shared, and then the thunderous applause for the wisdom and for your leadership and for all of the work that you have done in this world and will continue to do. It's an honor. Thank you.
Thank you so very much.
Hello? Yes. All right. Now we're coming to you actually live from James Chapel. While we weren't able to do a full commencement in person, circumstances have enabled us to do the final parts of this celebration in this place that so many of you have spent much time. And if you could see out into the broader chapel, you would see about maybe 30 people who have gathered here in brilliant red robes with families. Please hear them. So as we come to the end of this amazing commencement, we're going to have another musical selection. In March of 2020, oh man, we remember March of 2020. Amidst sorrow and fear, singer-songwriter Charles Duke composed the song Resilience and Hope as an offering of solace, hope, and faith. Today, our talented musicians at Union will offer an expanded version featuring a choir and a soloist. Our own Dean of the Chapel, Sandra Montes, and they will be led by Malcolm Merriweather. I give you our music.
Resilience and hope, a song about resilience and hope, watching us grow through resilience and hope.
Morning will come, and I'll hold you in the warmth of my arms, greeted by the dawn's early light. And to all the medics working long nights, your sacrifice is why there's resilience and hope.
A song about resilience and hope, watching us grow through resilience and hope.
Be still in your home. Take a moment, look away from your phone. The anxiety steals breath from your lungs. Search inside of you. This being alone, is it that or is it being made whole? In letting go, something new can be born. We all have to choose.
Resilience and hope, a song about resilience and hope, watching us grow through resilience and hope. Resilience and hope, a song about resilience and hope, watching us grow through resilience and hope.
It's okay, you can let your tears flow. With all this change, it's tough, heaven knows. The uncertainties of life sometimes low. You're gonna make it through, you'll make it through. And we are strong and it shows. But with each loss it hurts and it knows. And we know when there's a God in our soul.
resilience and hope. A song about resilience and hope. Watching us grow through resilience and hope.
Oh, resilience and
Resilience and hope. We need your resilience and hope.
resilience and hope.
Your resilience and hope. Join the resilience and hope. Multiply resilience and hope. Resilience and hope. Resilience and hope.
If you could see the chapel, you would have seen a lot of people standing up and cheering. Thank you for that song. Oh, it's got me choked up. Thank you, Dr. Merriweather, for the music. Thank you, choir. And thank you, Dean Montes. Thank you for giving us resilience and hope all year long. And you sang it today, but you live it. And I want to say a special thanks for that. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to introduce three graduates who are here who are going to offer us a prayer. Lou Zhang, Jake Heron, and Vanessa Lindley. Would you come forward?
Merciful God, we thank you for all who graduate from Union Theological Seminary this year. You have blessed us during our year in Union with wisdom, encouragement, strength, friendships, and the beloved community people have created. Please help us and guide us so we can use our learnings to proclaim the good news to the world and make the world a better place with love and justice. We please you for continuing to bless us as we go forth, called to serve your people in your grace and mercy. When we face challenges and difficulties, please inspire us to always have strong faith in you and keep your words in our hearts. We also ask you to continue blessing our Union family in the future. We are so proud of being the part of the family. Amen.
Spirit of life, we gather today to recognize the experience of these graduates and their families and friends who have overcome great obstacles to learn and to bond, to strengthen both individually as well as collectively. As we embark upon the next portion of our journey, please continue to nurture and to guide us. May we continue to proclaim good news and do good works until all sentient beings are liberated from suffering. May this be so for ourselves, for our children, and our children's children unto the 7th generation. Nunjwe and Amen.
Greetings, graduates, faculty, staff, administration, alumni, family, and friends. Let us pray. God, creator, source of boundless compassion, we thank you for this day. We thank you for all who have given their energy, skill, love, and support so that we can commence our seminary journey today. Our professors, mentors, allies, our spouses, partners, children, family, loved ones, we thank you for them and give them all to you in prayer. God, we thank you for our time here together at Union Theological Seminary. Although half of our seminary time was spent in a pandemic, a quarantine, racial and civil unrest, building construction, virtual classes, we are thankful for the connections we made through it all. We are thankful for the resilience and resonance that we obtained from some of our greatest lessons outside the classroom. We are called for such a time as this. We are the sacred warriors. As this chapter in our life closes, so a new one begins. And we are thankful to be the designated survivors. So God, bless us graduates, the ones who raised children, the ones who had children, the ones who lived with disabilities, who lost loved ones, and are here to tell the story. May we feel a sense of achievement in this milestone and excitement for what lies ahead. May each of us know your presence in our lives and find ways to use our abilities for your glory. Provide us with the courage to move beyond fear and doubt, to find strength in our capacity to care for others, and to respect the diversity of humankind, knowing that our liberations are tied to each other. You heard that earlier. Help us to be mindful that true success is born of meaningful relationships in a community that embraces love, peace, and justice. Through your gracious spirit, we ask that you bless us with patience as we explore new horizons. Bless us with humility in the face of success and abundance, because it is ours. Bless us with compassion for the poor, the sick, the suffering. Bless us with the generosity in the midst of challenges to come. Bless us with rest and restoration as we continue our call. Bless us with the gratitude for every good thing. Bless us with the courage to make good trouble. And bless us all, class of 2021 at Union Theological Seminary, the class of justice and joy, our family, friends, faculty, mentors, and supporters, as we share in the joy of these accomplishments. Amen.
So now we're coming to the end of our commencement ceremony today. Every year I have the task of giving the final charge. It's always difficult because in one sense, your entire time at Union is like an extended charge to go out into the world and to do good and to make justice. But I have to say to you that I have never had such difficulty writing a charge as I did writing the one for this class of 2021. You have weathered so much. Last spring, you all watched as this city and our neighborhood bent and almost broke under the weight of a vicious pandemic. You heard the sirens. You sat by the bedsides. You saw the scourge of health disparities ravage Black and brown communities with deathly force. You witnessed that, and you did not turn away. And as the summer sun bore down upon you, you marched and you chanted and you camped out across this city fighting for racial justice, shouting down the lies of white supremacy, while you were also weeping for the planet as fires raced across our western coast. You witnessed all of this, and yet you did not turn away. And as the fall colors came, you sat before Zoom screens for hours and hours and hours, and you struggled with isolation, depression, flat out despair, loss, even hunger. And this class did not turn away. And then as the winter snows came, you witnessed a hate-filled, racist, insurrectionist mob storm the Capitol. Something no one in our history had ever witnessed. And you, the class of 2021, watched it all, never imagining that a symbol of that same hatred would appear and spread its terror from the roof of a building where you slept and ate and gathered in masks with friends. You witnessed all this, and you did not turn away. I stand before you today utterly astonished by your fortitude and your resilience. You have grown neither cynical nor hardened. You have reached your hands towards each other, your palms open, not fisted. Class of 2021, you have drunk deeply from the wells of scripture and theologies, ancient wisdoms and practices. But remarkably, this class has never, as I have seen it, become drunk with the pride that this kind of knowledge can induce. You've read thousands of pages written by the world's most transcendent and profound minds, but you have never, I have never witnessed it. You have never turned away from the prophetic call that all of these writings and their witness delivered directly to you. You have weathered storms of hatred and yet remained warm-hearted, even as you stood shaking in drenched, cold clothes. I'll never forget this class as the class that standing in cold clothes generated heat. You astonish me. You, and you, and you, and you, and you, and all of those who are watching. What new thing can I possibly say to you about the future when all of its demons have already descended upon you all at once, and you have already risen strong and resolute? So I decided that my charge to you today would be to do something very simple but true. I lift up to you your own power and your own light. That brilliant, revealing, startling light that you bear inside your soul, each one of you. I lift it up today and I hold it here for you to see. See its glimmer, its eternal power, its divinity. This is your light. So today I charge you to claim it, share it, follow it, and as the prophet Micah says to us, as we look at this light, do justice, love mercy, and in all things, and at all times, and in all places, walk humbly with your God.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you, class of 2021, for your power and your light. Congratulations to all of the graduates. This is the end of our commencement, so go forth and be graduated. Done.